What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and welcome to your... Wait a second, this isn't a daily dose of doom. Man, I'm so used to saying that. But anyways, I'm sorry about that. This is going to be a PvP video, and yes, we did just jump right into it, because it's an extremely long match. As you probably have noticed, they have crazy stats, probably the highest health I've ever seen. And I'm using a level 12 Sabretooth and only a level 9 Nico. I have no Mystic and no Scroll equipped. I was just trying to make this for a video purpose and just try this team out. And I end up coming against this, so it was incredibly unlucky. And truthfully, I probably would have been best just to back out. Especially after this thing started going past like the 10-minute mark. But if you know me, you know I don't quit. I'll stay in a battle even if it's 1 versus 3, or if my agent gets killed in the first round. So basically, if you like long, hard-fought battles, and not those easy massacres that often happen, this is going to be the video to watch. I know it's quite long, but it is pretty interesting. And trust me, it was extremely difficult to win. If I would have had the Scroll and or the Mystic, I probably would have done a lot better. I could at least put obsolete tech on rescue. But nope, we don't have any of that. I actually have the mace, which is only like a level 100 mace or something. It's really low eye level. And then I have the chaos shot. And the reason is, this team, I basically want to call it We'll Be Right Back, or Team Be Right Back. Because my agent will come back once because of the mace, or prevent himself from dying. Nico comes back to life once, and Sabretooth also comes back. And then the other thing that they have in common is the fact that the Chaos Shot, Nico, and Sabretooth can all exploit attrition. So they really are capable of quite a bit of damage, especially against a normal team. This team, however, is anything but normal. Alright, so we're only about 2.5 minutes or so in. And my agent's already at 50% health, and they're still all at 100%. So it's looking pretty bad to start. But I really do enjoy this team, and I think that Nico has a ton of promise, and I love a character with a bunch of options. The reason being is because, as a human player, now maybe not for the AI, but for a human player, to have that many options and that many different things you can choose from, is just amazing strategy-wise. She also gives you so much variety that you don't get tired of her, and I'll make a pretty decent example for that. Say a character like Quicksilver. You're going to do basically the same thing every time you use him. And there's other characters that may even be worse, but Quicksilver's one of them. And in the past, I've used these characters, and I found myself going into battles, and I would just go through the motions, clicking like, they're level 9, then they're level 6, they're level 2. It'd be the same thing every single battle. Well, that's not going to happen with Nico. She has so many different things you can do, and there may be different situations, and she can just adapt. So for me, that makes the game fun. And like I said, I don't want to be robotic, so I'm going to be using Nico a lot. And using Sabretooth, I do admit he doesn't have the same options, but I do think he's fun too, and maybe that's just because I'm a fan. Another thing with Nico is the fact that she can't use the same ability, or if you do, it'll say it'll have unexpected results. So she'll actually force you to change it up throughout the battle. Throughout this entire match, I'm trying so many different things, and I may make some mistakes, but it's really crazy how it works out. I was definitely happy that I could use the Light Fantastic, because for a second there I thought my agent might not make it. But we do get it off, so we're a little bit safer right now, since we can obviously take a hit and we'll heal. So we get hit with a pretty decent Witch Arm, but they're still really close to full health. So I wasn't very optimistic. But like I said, I just kept in this battle, and was going to give it my best. On Sabretooth's turn, I'm going to use his level 1 on rescue. So we hit her, and we're hoping to put bleeding on her. Getting those stacks of Blood Rage build up is really important for Sabretooth, if you want to come close to his maximum damage potential. But that's obviously going to be really hard when they have the Blackest Void, they have rescue, and they're just going to keep removing our buffs. Still, the purpose of this team was to exploit attrition, so now it's time to use more dots, especially since I'm disoriented, so if I use this single target attack, I may end up hitting my own teammate. I also figured if I could just set up that rock and roll attack, I would do quite a bit of damage to their entire team. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if I decided this at the beginning of the match, but I wanted to go after Rescue, so I'm going to try to take her out first. And that's because teams become a lot less annoying once she's gone. And all of these turns is just another thing that bothered me. On top of all the mismatches, they have a tactician and I have a blaster, so they're going to gain tactical maneuver sometimes. And then they have a bruiser agent, and I have a scrapper and Sabretooth. So yeah, I knew I was in for a long one as soon as this one started. We're going to get hit with all these flyby attacks, and the only good news is she is taking bleeding damage. It would be really helpful if she didn't also apply off balance. I don't know what they were thinking when they gave her that. On my agent's turn, I actually was contemplating using the Chaos Shot, but we have to use that Improbability Field. I figured I'd worry about exploiting attrition maybe on Sabretooth's turn. But let's go ahead and get even more dots in the meantime. And I figured it would be nice if we got some regen effects as well. Now it's going to be their Nico's turn, and you never know what she's going to do. So let's see what she decides to cast. First off, these buffs are going on forever, and she decides to use Die in a Fire. So that really sucks because it's going to put Soulfire on my agent, and there goes all our buffs. Now here's my Sabretooth, and he unfortunately doesn't have any of his Blood Rage, so his level 2 is not going to do nearly as much damage. And then he was magnetized on top of that. But all in all, it was still a decent hit on the Rescue, and we really need to take her out as fast as possible. Now on their agent's turn, they're going to use the cube as well. So here comes an Improbability Field right back at me. At least my dots stay on them, so I could get a pretty decent rock and roll hit. And that's exactly what we're going to go for. So if we hit Rescue for a good amount of damage, she may just die to dots. And that could give us the breakthrough that we need to win this battle. Alright, so let's do it. Let's cast that ultimate move, or at least what I would call our ultimate, Rock and Roll. It does an okay amount of damage, but they can take a hit like a champ. Their defense is off the charts. But at the beginning of Rescue's turn, she will die to dots. So that's going to give us that opportunity to win this. Our agent's probably next to go, but let's try that Atom Smasher before we go. Normally this would do a ton of damage and practically finish an entire team. And I know they don't have that many debuffs, but they do have quite a few. Yet this move does hardly anything to their team. Alright, you know what? After looking at this is a really tough decision. I want to do one last strike, but it doesn't look like it's going to do enough damage. So I think it'll be better to get rid of those regen effects and all their buffs. So I use Blackest Void instead. And now I assume that Nico will KO my agent. And then one of the most terrible things that could happen happens. Nico smartly uses her kick-ass ability to give their agent an extra turn. And he uses this to cast the Scroll of Angolob, which removes all those dots and all of our buffs. So yeah, it was like a genius move. And then he also can use the Atom Smasher. So that completely decimates my team. And while I knew I wasn't out of the fire because a Nico with 70,000 health that hadn't even resurrected yet was going to be tough enough to beat, now my entire team is basically dead. So their res effects are going to be kicking in. After casting Berserker, I tried to go for a stun, so let's use the Tantrum, and I was really hoping that I stunned their team. Otherwise, I figured that I was going to lose this battle. So here goes nothing. I cast Tantrum, and their agent dodges every single attack. And on top of that, he's enraged ×2, and it's his turn again. So he's going to go with the Savant Spear on Sabretooth. It does a massive hit and procs our first res. So now Sabretooth will get an extra turn, and I figured I might as well attack their agent. He's the next closest to death, and he's already enraged ×2, so what do I have to lose? I hit him with the level 2 mainly for the 2 bleed stacks. And now it's going to be Nico's turn. So I'll go with her level 9, and that does give her blood sacrifice and some health back. Then I really believe she could finish off their agent with just her level 1. So I want the witch arm on him. And we do take him out. So now it is 2-on-1, but like I said, their Nico has 44,000 health, and she hasn't resurrected yet. When she comes back, she's going to have full health, 70,000 HP. Now of course at this point Sabretooth is enraged, he's in his frenzy, so he does get to attack a lot. And that's going to help us get her down at least to that first res. We don't really have to worry about our blood rage getting removed, so we finally can build that up as well. And another good thing that I didn't mention is the fact that Sabretooth against Nico can easily gain blood rage because she puts bleeding on herself. I suppose that's one of the downsides to using Nico. That and hemorrhaging attack, of course. Here we start getting a little bit lucky because Sabretooth is going off with those Berserker procs. Since he's now at 5 blood rage, our next attack with him will be his level 2, and it's going to do incredible damage. I guarantee it's going to be enough to make her have to resurrect. But any extra damage won't help us at all. And in fact, I believe that all 3 attacks, while Sabretooth's second and Nico's first, won't count. She'll still be in that resurrect mode. It's really kind of broken, but it's how resurrects have done in the past as well. So there you see it, she's still at 705 health, and we can just keep hitting her and nothing's going to happen. But I do decide to try a freeze, and it's dodged. So now she's going to res, and she'll be at full health. So that's kind of cheap, and we could actually lose because of this. But don't worry, it does work for us as well. So if she keeps hitting Nico, the same thing would happen. At least while I'm going through that back from the Brink phase. But this time, once she uses her second attack, Sabretooth will be gone for good. But in just a moment, it is going to get kind of funny, because Sabretooth decides to come back to life. But don't worry, he's just here as a spectator, and this is a pretty funny glitch that I've never seen before. Like I said, this is Team B right back, so I guess it makes sense that Sabretooth came back to watch. I think I'm going to do a mashup for glitches, and I'm going to make a video of several different glitches, I think for the Glitch of the Week playlist. This one's definitely going to make it. To be honest with you, the other ones aren't too funny. But anyways, we were down to a Nico with 70k health, and one with somewhere in the mid-40s. So it's kind of a toss-up, but at least they're controlled by the AI. Sadly, we miss our witch arm, so it was looking kind of bad for us. I almost wanted to have a checklist to see which abilities I used and which ones I didn't. But I'm pretty sure I remember, so we're going to go ahead and use Fear Me, and I'm hoping that that Cower kicks in. Also, of course, the Intimidate should help. Now on their turn, they are intimidated, but they use Rock and Roll. So that's their big hit. Luckily it didn't do that much damage. We only had 3 bleed stacks on us. So that's not really that much to exploit. Then we kind of go into our spamming Witch Arm phase. And it looks like that Nico may be doing the same thing. And that's of course because of the unexpected results, so we don't want to use the same actions. Oh, but apparently they can use another Rock and Roll. So I was pretty surprised by that. And it tempted me to use it as well. But honestly, I figured that it would probably backfire and be something terrible for me. So I just used another Witch Arm. And at this point, it's really close for both of us. But I do get that second Witch Arm, and it's a crit. And that's it, we pull out the victory. So we got a really tough win against an insanely powerful agent. And we did it with a level 9 Nico, no Mystic, and no Scroll. That's going to be it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was quite long, but I did enjoy making it. I would like to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck, and take care.